Chaotic scenes of protests unfolding in Los Angeles after federal immigration agents raided 7 businesses across the city. At one site, a crowd tried to stop agents from driving away after several people were detained. Immigration advocates say at least 45 people were arrested in Friday's raids. Mayor Karen Bass said that neither she nor the LAPD had any idea that these raids were going to happen.
Frankly, I'm just outraged because what happened is that when ICE went in, they just took people away. And we just can't have this in our city. And it happened multiple places in the city. And what it does is that it sows a sense of terror throughout the community.
And ICE released a statement saying that they are treating everyone detained with dignity. Breaking overnight, chaotic scenes of protests unfolding in Los Angeles after federal immigration agents raided 7 businesses across the city. At one site, a crowd tried to stop agents from driving away after several people were detained. Immigration advocates say at least 45 people were arrested in Friday's raids. Mayor Karen Bass said that neither she nor the LAPD had any idea that these raids were going to happen.
Frankly, I'm just outraged because what happened is that when ICE went in, they just took people away. And we just can't have this in our city. And it happened multiple places in the city. And what it does is that it sows a sense of terror throughout the community.
And ICE released a statement saying that they are treating everyone detained with dignity.
All right, Shalawam. First and foremost, let's start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to YAHAWASHI, Ba'ashem Rakah Kadash, the honors to the apostles, the elders of Great Millstone, the men that told this truth. A peace and salutation, Brakathub, to all you sincere Akim that's laboring in this truth throughout the 4 corners of the earth. All right, and currently what's going on out there in California, Trump, he just, is deploying 2,000 National Guard members to fight what's going on, between ICE and, the civilians out there that's protesting against, these ICE raids. All right. And what you're seeing right now, this is basically, 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter, 16th chapter, coming to pass, and all you're going to see is things escalate, of course. The governor of California, he's saying basically to, not to set off, the National Guards to come into California because it's just going to excite the people. And, this is a thing that the elites go by, auto ab chaos, right? Which is, order out of chaos. And they have to bring the disorder to, get the solution, which the solution ultimately is to have everybody chipped up, So we're seeing these things play out, the uproars of the people and, invading houses, things like that. This is what's written in the scriptures, and these are the beginning of sorrows. All right. The time with Jacob's trouble, Jacob being you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. All right. This is a time of trouble for you, and matter of fact, let's get this because it started out there from Friday. So now it's, Saturday night, they done turned up, houses on fire, businesses being looted. Okay. So we're in some times where, according to Bible prophecy, we're seeing these things take place in the earth, right? So let's get 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter, right? Verse 14, it says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein. Woe meaning destruction, all right? That's what's coming to this place called America, a.k.a. Babylon the Great, all right? It says, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands, right? The swords, the modern day sword is the gun or any, destroying weapon that you can use to conflict violence, all right? And that's what you're seeing. We're seeing civil war, civil unrest between, the local authorities and these civilians, okay, protesting of their rights, man. Like the scriptures mention in the book of Proverbs, it says, when the wicked are in authority, the people mourn, but when the righteous bears rule, the people rejoice. And we're seeing right now the people are in mourning because of the powers that be. The wicked elites start with the top international bankers, all right? The Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the DuPonts, so on and so forth. That's the reason why the world is in great chaos. But it's bigger than that. It's the point is that the Lord's judgment is about to take place in the earth, and is mainly contained to you Israelites. All right, now you're seeing is going on with the Northern Kingdom. All right, Northern Kingdom, they're going through hell right now. All right, and it's going to affect all of Jake, of course, but it's no difference, man, because we're the Israelites. All right, it's not happening to no other nation of people. Being snatched up is happening to our people. Okay, and let me read on. It says, "For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes." Right, and that's what we're seeing. The invading of ICE into just wrongfully raiding apartments and snatching up our people. That's what we're seeing, and they're not regarding kings or princes. Their local officials, their mayors, their governors, right? Hey, things are going to get out of hand, man. It says, "In the course of their actions shall stand in their power." Right, they're taking things into their own hands. People are being fed up, of the injustice of what's going on. All right, and hey, we're gonna see, man, in these days to come, it's gonna get bad. It's gonna get worse, man. It says, "A man shall desire to go into a city, it shall not be able." Why? Because of curfew. It's gonna be basically we're right now. If right now, if Trump did deploy 2,000 National Guards. This is saying martial law without saying martial law. He didn't officially announce martial law, but that's what it is. It's going to be lockdowns very soon. Okay, especially if this thing continues. Uh, you know, uh, Going into the week. Okay, because right now California is a mess. They have businesses destroyed, on fire, cars on fire, people looting, and with Jake will find any opportunity to do wickedly, you know. So it says, it's lucky. It says, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Right, it's going to be lockdowns, going to be garrison set up, roadblocks. You're not going to be able to go from one city to another, from one borough to another. Yeah, that's what we're seeing, right? It's saying, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, and it says the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. Okay, because why? They're going to start in the cities. They're going to start, because that's where predominantly the people are. Most people are, especially you Jakes, man. In these major cities. Okay, because this thing is going to be not just in California, it's going to be all over America, different states. Okay, all right. It says the houses shall be destroyed and men shall be afraid, right? Because like it tells you in what's that? Jeremiah, the 30th chapter. Why do I see every man with his hands upon his loins, crying as a woman in travail? Because it says Egypt shall be as women. Okay, so a lot of you tough guys, you men that claim that you're tough and all that. In that time, you women, you men are gonna be as women. You're gonna be as as straight up as bitches, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, it says a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. and we're going to see the love of many shall wax cold, right? When you go to the word wax cold, it means psycho, all right? So people are going to become psychotic out here, all right? It's going to be where it's going to be you against them, okay? Because when people's backs are against the wall, and they ain't got nothing to lose, they're going to lose it, all right? So hey, man, we're in those days, man. And when you go to Second Ezra, the 16th chapter, it goes into the beginning of sorrows, great mournings, all that, man. This is what we're seeing right now on the earth, so, uproars of the people, Let's get Deuteronomy 28 and verse 32, because this is what you're seeing too, as far as they're separating and having a division among, these so-called Venezuelans and these, Mexicans, those are of the northern kingdom being separated, wrongfully raided. Okay, they even had it where you had people go to the courthouse, to sign up for, to be a citizenship, and then getting snatched up, and given to ICE, man. Showing you can't trust thy enemy, man. You can't trust thy enemy. You can't trust this devil, man. This is Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 32. It says, thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thy eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in thy hand. All right. And this was during the time of slavery. You had Jake being separated from their family. Esau would purposely separate the family, okay, have the kids separated from the mother. The mother would go to one plantation, the kids would go to another plantation, and you may never see your children again, man. All right. And the same thing that's happening today. All right. You got ICE snatching up, separating the families, okay, carting them off to these prisons out there in El Salvador, and then you got Trump talking about he's going to build up a prison in Libya, all right? So this is the curses, man. This is what's written about our people, and it still holds to this day, man. Okay, so you know how many of our people have been separated at the border? You had whether they're coming from Venezuela or these different parts of the Central America, South America, they're basically getting separated, man. Okay, and you got ICE snatching them up. Okay, showing you that we're the Israelites, man. This is not happening to any other nationality of people, nation of people. You know what I'm saying? You don't hear about it. You only predominantly hear about the Northern Kingdom right now, and little of the Southern Kingdom. You know what I'm saying? Because now you got Trump talking about he got a travel ban on Haiti. All right, why is that, man? Because he knows we're the Israelites. You know what I'm saying? You don't hear about no other nation of people that's being mistreated the way our people are being mistreated, man. Okay? Because we're in the time of Jacob's trouble. This is the beginning, man. This is Jeremiah chapter 30, and I'm going to start at verse 5. All right? It says, for thus saith the Lord YAHAWASHI, we have heard a voice of trembling and of fear and not of peace, man. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what the Lord is about to bring to the society, man. All right? Trembling, fear, lamentations, and woe. Okay? All right? And here you got Jake caught up, in their day-to-day. They not even worrying about what's going on. Okay? They don't see what's going on. They worried about their own bullshit, showing you that it's going to affect all of us very soon. Okay? It says, ask ye now and see whether a man do a travail with child Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness, man. All right, because most of you, all right, you Israelites, you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you're not gonna have a hedge of protection upon you, man. Okay, you know the Lord is only dealing with His elect, and you're gonna see it these times to come. A lot of you are gonna be basically gonna be sheep for the slaughter. Okay, all right, and it's not for us to get carnal. We know we can't get carnal on this side. The Lord gave this devil the blessing of the sword, man. All right, and he's gonna execute his. He's not gonna use his the sword in vain. He's not gonna use the sword in vain because his whole intention is to use it, especially in these times to come. All right, we're not supposed to go against the powers to be. You can read that in Romans the 13th chapter. All right. And if you go against the powers that be, you're going against the Heavenly Father because He's the one that set it up. All right. So it says, at last, right, which also means woe, right, destruction, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, for he shall be saved out of it. He is talking about the elect. All right, those that were preordained or predestined from the very foundations of the earth to believe in this truth, and the Lord is going to deliver them. Okay, that's why this truth is very important, man. Knowing this word, all right, and having being mixed with faith as well, and also what it says the wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy time and strength of thy salvation. Having this wisdom is what's going to be able to sustain us in these times to come. When everybody's bugging out and all hell is breaking loose, we're going to resort to these scriptures, man. And this is what's going to comfort us in the times ahead, so we know that these things are going to happen in the earth because why? This is Bible prophecy. This is nothing that we're not going to know or we're going to be shooken about. We're just giving the warning to our people, letting them know like this is what's going to happen. They're going to come. They're going to try to snatch you up. All right. Because this is what's written in the scriptures, man. Okay. The time of Jacob's trouble. And we're seeing the beginning of sorrows. All right. So with that, I'm going to end it there. All praises due to YAHAWAH. To the next time I say Shalawam.